Let's go! This is me. I got 100% in time complexity and 99% in memory complexity in just 2 weeks of Leetcode. But you might be asking, how did I even get here? Since when I started doing Leetcode? Well, good morning! What a beautiful day to start my programming journey, isn't it? Seems like all people in YouTube seems to be doing some sort of lead code or something like that. Let's just try that. Okay, we are on our account and let's see what questions that we can do. So today we are going to try lead code and I'm gonna be doing this for the next 2 weeks and see what I got and share with you what I have learned and everything. Now before I began, I wanted to roll back into what I did in the first year of programming. Back then, before college started, there is actually a time where I studied front-end development, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And to be honest, I made lots of stuff actually during that time. Although I mostly just basically spam div element after div element after div element after div element after div element. Yeah, you get the point. Hello world. Anywho, JavaScript is my first programming language and my friend recommended me to try Leetcode. But instead of just picking random questions out of the blue, he suggests follow this roadmap, which you can find at leetcode.io, which honestly is pretty damn good, but damn bro, I suck so bad. And after that, I just gave up and started to learn C because of college and ditched JavaScript away. Months passed and Leetcode was never touched or even thought for a second in my head because I was so busy with my life on campus until February 2026. When I arrived at the library of my campus, I saw my friend actually doing Leetcode. Now, since we were learning about data structure and he was looking for questions, he decided to try Leetcode and practice there about linked list. Now, I don't want to brag, but I do have a pretty high GPA on my first semester. And to be honest, I can solve the university questions that they gave me. So I wanted to give Leetcode another chance of redemption. So here I am. I decided to try array first because it shouldn't be too difficult and it was the first thing that I learned in my university. So I decided to try array and see where it gets me. I found this question. Question 14. Longest common prefix. Okay, that seems pretty easy and sounds easy. Let's just try reading the question. Write a function to find the longest common prefix string amongst an array of strings. If there is no common prefix, return an array of empty string. Okay, we have an example over here. The string that contains flower, flow, flight. All of these three strings have a common prefix of F and L, so we output that. But in example 2, there is dog, race car, and car. And you shouldn't output anything because there is no common prefix among the input strings. There is the constraint, and that's it. This question has a pretty decent acceptance rate of 47%. I don't know if that's good or not because this is my first time, but let's just see. After coding a bit, this is not actually that hard. And here's what I actually got. Well, it's not that hard because it's an easy question. First, we get the minimum length of the string. Then after that, we create a string variable to store the result by allocate it with the minimum length of the string plus 1 for the null terminator. Because again, I'm coding this in C. Then we pretty much just go through each index and at each index, we check if the character is the same for every string. If it is, then we just append it to the result function and just continue the process. But if it is not, then we just exit and return whatever the result is. Pretty nice start. I just submitted and we did it. 0 milliseconds and 8.1 megabytes. You know what? I'll take it. Wow, it seems like the easy question is definitely doable. It's definitely easy. Let's try looking for another one in the roadmap. Oh, look at this. Problem 26. Remove duplicate from sorted array. this is definitely doable. I just gotta remove all the duplicates, right? It couldn't be that hard, right? I just gotta code that and submit that, and then you know what? It's fine. At least I can still do it. Let's just ramp up the difficulty a bit and try this one. The famous question 11. This is gonna be the first medium question that I tried with C, which is container with most water. Now, let me just say that this question has a pretty easy solution because yes, you can technically just loop through the entire thing and then find the max value, but then you have a limited amount of time and that just gives you an O n squared solution. So we need to find something better. So let's just code. Guys, let's just say that this question is probably not the best for beginners because to be honest, I'm not happy because I couldn't solve this myself and I use AI. But hey, we all start somewhere and I'm not gonna lie, I still make pretty silly mistakes too. I make decent progress. Just gotta keep going. I get the logic, the two-pointer logic. I just gotta I just gotta practice more. Over the course of the week, there are many questions that I try, such as problem 27, remove element, which is fairly easy. Problem 136, single number. This number bumped me for a bit because I thought I had to make a long hash table, but you basically just need to do an XOR operation that I thought wasn't that difficult because of the title. Then there's problem 36, valid Sudoku. Another medium that bumped me, but I found my way after doing it the entire day, and then of course I use AI just to make sure and everything. Problem 12, integer to Roman, which is the first medium that I did without actually using AI, and it is actually pretty easy. To be honest, all I did in this question is pretty much just spamming while loop after while loop, which is not probably the best solution, but this is what I got, okay? And then there's also problem 13, which is Roman to integer, which is an easy question but somehow has a less acceptance rate than the medium question. Anyhow, this is also very simple. By this point, I started to feel like a lot more confident with myself with Leetcode, and I'm starting to get the hang of it. I actually coded the entire thing in VS Code because I'm not really used with the Leetcode layout, but you'll see some footage of me coding in Leetcode. Yeah, that's just me copying from my VS Code. Regardless, there is just one thing that I've never tried and always wanted to try as someone who has been wanting to learn Leetcode for a while, which is the daily question. The day is February 5, 2026, and it is a day where I decided to try the daily question problem. Welcome on board problem 3379. This question is not that hard. You're basically given an integer array of nums that basically represent a circular array, and my task is basically just to create a new array of results of the same size with these rules. So it's not that hard actually, except the left section is gonna be tricky because you're moving to the left, and if you're moving to the right, you can modulo it and it still gives you the index that you want. But if you move it to the left, I'm not sure, but C doesn't exactly calculate negative when it comes to modulo, so I have to manually implement it myself. So that's the only thing that hinders me, and after basically 2 hours of coding, I got nothing. I couldn't figure out the module section. Yeah, bro, even when I was going to campus, the only thing that I could just think of is like how to modulo that stupid negative number. And yes, I couldn't figure it out. And after trying to attempt it again at night, with the help of insight of yes AI, and so I failed. But hey, it's okay. I know how to do it, and I can share the answer if you guys wanted to. It's not that bad, in my opinion, for first try. But I just wish that I don't use AI. But you know what? It was the easiest thing that I can do. After that, is this just another day of doing problems after problems, and again, I'm gonna getting used to solving these easy questions, but I don't want to get cocky. So here we go again. Another question that I wanted to tackle is problem 21. Merge two linked lists. This took a while, but I do want to get it done since this is for my college and I'm learning data structures. Like, it took me a day, but I managed to figure it out and I'm happy with it because I don't exactly use AI. Maybe just a bit for the linked list logic because I messed it up. But again, pretty good result. Then I decided to check Leetcode to find more question, and then I found problem 49, group anagrams. By reading the question, all you need to do is basically just output the anagram in groups and then you get the answer. Okay, I just gotta figure out that and solve it myself. It shouldn't be that hard, right? Not gonna lie, at this point, I was like in a call with my friends at night, and then they were talking, and I was busy tackling this question for like 2.5 hours until I submitted, and I did it, sorta. Well, it's okay. The next day, I woke up, go to campus, go to the library, try to do another question that I think might be easy. Then I see this question. When I was checking at neatcode.io, there is this question. Problem 238. Product of array except self. Oh, this sounds interesting. And this is the question. Now, hear me out. I was trying to find a way to do this question without going to the array n times and having to recalculate it. But the solution is actually very simple. Because here, I'm gonna explain the question first. Let's say you have a nums element of 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to return an array where each index is a multiplication of all elements except the element at that index. For example, nums at index 0, which is 1, must output 24 because 2 times 3 times 4 is 24. Same goes to nums at index 1. It must be 12 because 1 times 3 times 4 is 12, and so on. So here's what I come up with. And there's actually an elegant way to solve this that I just thought about in my brain, which is you just need to multiply everything and then just divide it with the current element. That's it. Legit. Like in nums, if you multiply all the elements, you get 24, right? Then you can just legit divide every element of itself and then you get the same answer, all without looping back and forth. I felt like a genius, bro. Like, that was the first time I genuinely thought of the solution without actually using AI or something. But there's an issue with that approach because, for example, you have a nums array of negative 1, 1, 0, negative 3, and 3. If you multiply everything, you get 0. But if you try and multiply everything except that 0 element, you get 9. So we need to add something else. We have to detect if there is a 0 in the list. If there is, then we need to check as well how many are there, since if there are more than one, that means it is definitely guaranteed that no matter which element you are at, there will always be a 0. And therefore, after coding for just roughly 20 minutes, I got this. This is so nice. Like, damn bro, 100% and basically 99% of both time complexity and space complexity. It's just that insane. And well, there you have it. That's my journey at Leetcode. Well, not done because I was trying the script on Friday, and so I actually still have today and Saturday. So here's what I did. I did a grand total of those 2 days of one question. Yeah, so basically, funny story, I tried to do problem 39 because it sounds fun combinational sum. Because when I was trying to pick a random question, I saw that this question is medium, yet it has like 70% acceptance rate. So surely it shouldn't be that bad, right? But yeah, that wraps up my entire journey of 2 weeks with Leetcode. Also, that thumbnail is, yeah, it's probably clickbait, but it was honestly the moment of joy where I found out that I am capable to solve questions with 100%. I just need practice. So, moral of the story, you just have to practice and learn. And it's okay if you use AI, but don't use it as an occasional thing. Try thinking through the problem first. Then, after you get stuck for an hour or two, you can try searching for solutions in YouTube, not the code, just the idea. And if that is too difficult, you can try using the code, but you should be aware that you are learning, not copying. And that's my advice for after 2 weeks. For anyone watching this, scared to start doing Leetcode because you think you're not good enough, I think this video is a proof that not good enough is exactly where everyone starts, including myself. Anywho, if you find this video interesting, you can just leave a like. You can also comment telling me what to request next. I'll probably want to make more essay-like videos or tutorial next time. So keep subscribing to see. Bye bye.